Very good afternoon and very warm hello from Myanmar to Dash Hand Foundation and all the participants and all the ladies and gentlemen joined in this seminar. In Myanmar, it is 37 degrees Celsius and I even get the headache. And so please don't mind if I cannot answer all your questions. Today, I will discuss about the condominium investment in Yangon because most of the investment interested in Yangon and they want to make the investment decision, how to make investment decision for Yangon. And then also to make the investment in Yangon, especially for the real estate sector, you may also need to know about urbanization, housing policy, and also what's the condominium means and what's other real estate sectors. That's why I will introduce you about those things in 3 parts, but not mentioned in my slides. The 3 parts is, first is Myanmar urbanization and housing policy. Second part is for Yangon and FDI flow in the real estate sector. And the third part is the condominium. Let's say about Myanmar urbanization. Next slide, please. Yes. As you may aware that Myanmar is compared with the other neighboring countries, Myanmar is low in urbanization rate and also low in income level. I hereby say about income level and urbanization rate because the investment decision for real estate sector is related with those things. Can you hear me? And so national population growth rate and urban population growth rate, you may see that Myanmar is although low in urbanization rate and currently it is 15 million people for urban area, but it will double up in 2040 in 30 million. And so meaning that how can we accommodate those future urbanization and for future urban population? This is also important to know that. And here in this map, this is the population density map of the whole country, Myanmar. You may see that the most populated area is in the middle of the Myanmar. It is Mandalay region. And then the southern part of Myanmar, it is Yangon region. Yangon region population density is 3 times higher than the Mandalay region population density. And so that's why most of the people interested in Yangon, because this is the most populated city and also the economic and industrial investment are in Yangon. Next slide, please. Yangon used to be the capital till 2007. This is, you already know that. And it is the economic hub still, it stands as the economic hub. And also the size of the population is 8 million here mentioned, that it is in Yangon region, not in urban area. In other urban area, it is the population size is nearly 5 million. It is similar to the Hong Kong population also, but it is 7 million. And it is neighboring with the Bago region and Ayawari region. And it means that the labor source is very near and then lots of laborers coming into the Yangon from the neighboring regions to the Yangon region. And so for the investment sector, it is a good decision to make investment because you can get cheap labor around there. And instead, furthermore, the Yangon region is the most interested area. And so to attract more investment and to make the future urbanization readiness, we mean that the government already set up and developed the Yangon region development plan, infrastructure master plan, and so that it is, we have much more room to invest like manufacturing and hotel and tourism, and also the information technology and also infrastructure. That infrastructure sector will be discussed by the Sia Ujo by next speaker. And so what I want to say you in this slide is that there is the potential investment sector. And then because of those potential investment and current situation of the economic development, Yangon is the most interested area. Next slide, please. And not only Yangon, for the Myanmar environment, you also need to know that Myanmar has the growing cities. This is the top 10 cities in Myanmar, and Myanmar government decided and also planned to invest here for the infrastructure and housing and industrial investment. And that's why MIC, Mr. Wana said that there is a branches in MIC offices in the regions. And so that's a reason we would like to attract and invite much more investment, not only to Yangon, but also to the other cities area. And then you can see that the urbanization rate of those top 10 cities in Myanmar. Next slide, please. How to accommodate the Myanmar population in terms of housing. That's why Myanmar government adopted the 1 million housing plan. But unlike the other countries, 1 million housing plan, we are not going to construct or develop those 1 million by the government side only. That 1 million is combined or cooperated with the private sector, because the government sector only can produce 20% of the required 1 million housing plan based on our productivity rate and then the scarce resources. That's why we would like to request and invite the private sector investment. The private sector investment is here in Myanmar is much more from Myanmar local investor, but we will also like to invite the foreign investment also into the housing sector. Next slide, please. When we said about the housing, this is also we need to know about income affordability. Without their income affordability, we cannot produce the houses. And so based on the JICA's survey for 2013, it is focused in Yangon area. And then the income level is quite low, and very low income level is about $100. And then the upper income group is about $500 to $1,000. There is a middle income group is we focus for between the 100,000 jets to 300,000 jets. It is the 59% of Yangon area. And then this 59%, even how can we produce to meet with the demand for that 59% is also quarrelsome for us. And we have to also know about that. There is a very low income group level, 18%, that cannot afford for the proper housing. And that 18% is, of course, the government has to focus and produce for their requirements. But we can share, we means that the government can share for the income level higher than the 300,000. We can set that this level is our upper income group. That level can represent Yangon population size is about 200,000 population sites. For those population sites, they need, of course, the proper or luxury level or high-end level housing. And so for the foreigners, you can focus for the income level over 500,000 jets or income level at 300 to 500,000 jets, 13%. If you want to focus for that income level, you also need to adjust the price to income ratio. And then the housing price level is you need to calculate very carefully to meet with the profit and to meet with their requirements. Next slide, please. To promote the housing affordability for the low middle income level, the government set up the CHIDB, Construction and Housing Bank, and also initiated for the primary housing mortgage loan starting from 2016. And so for the mortgage loan system, we have the low cost and affordable housing, 300 to 800 square feet, 800 to 1,200 square feet, and then the income level And then the unit sale price here is mentioned that unit sale price is now escalating too much because of the construction material price are become very higher during this day. And however, we still sell with this price because of the old stock we have. And so, but it will be escalated very nearly double up in the near future. We mean the governments need to promote how can we meet up with this mortgage loan system to the low income level. But here for your information is that even for the low income level, we make the government make that kind of mortgage loan system. And so meaning that for the level of the high income level, it is much more easier to get the mortgage loan from the banks. And for the low income level, price to income ratio is between 7 to 10, and then 5 to 15. And so it is still, we can say that it is affordable for the government housing for the low middle income level. Next slide, please. We will, after knowing about Myanmar urbanization and housing policy and mortgage policy, we can move to the Yangon population density map, and how about the Yangon real estate sector investment. And this is the Yangon population density map. And the population density for the urban area is 716.3 per square kilometer in the urban area. And then the denser the area, of course, the more expensive the land price and the higher intensity to build the condominium or high-end housing or become the high-rise building, like Hong Kong, but not like in Hong Kong. You may see Myanmar, or you may see already Yangon about that, and a very scattered development, you may see that. And so compared with here, you can see that the core area in the center is the central business district, and then the inner city and the outer city. Those areas are now very crowded, and also the land price there is nearly $300 to $400 per square feet. And then the old satellite towns and new suburbs, they still have available the land area, and then the land price is about $100 to $200 per square feet. Next slide, please. This is the government affordable housing. Most of the government affordable housing, they are the sale housing, and we can only set up in the new suburbs area where land availability is high, and then the land price is also cheaper to make such kinds of big development. And government promotes the equal access to our amenities, healthcare, education, employment, leisure, and housing in our own housing estate. And so how can we invite real estate investment into Myanmar? Under the Myanmar Foreign Investment Law, we can see that the establishment of international standard golf course and resorts and industrial parks, it is possible. And establishment and sales and lease of residential apartments, condominiums, office, commercial buildings. It is, we call the real estate sector, and maybe hotel and tourism is a bit, here is not so clear in terms of the MIC definition. Now, and then establishment and sales and lease of residential apartments connected to industrial zones and affordable housing. And then the development of new satellite towns. In Yangon, there's golf course, industrial parks, and new satellite towns are also possible and already set up by the developers from the foreigners or as well the local person. However, for the residential apartments and condominium, it's still, we can say that legally it's still not possible yet because of the other limits and regulations. But office and commercial buildings under the, we call it under the BOD system, build, operate, and transfer system, it is possible. Establishment and sales and lease of residential apartments, it is, if you connect it together with the industrial parks or golf course, it is possible. But if you separately set up the residential apartments, it is somewhat a bit quarrelsome because of the financial policy or foreign exchange policy, maybe. That's why we need to clarify before we make the investment. And it is also because of those limits and regulations, maybe FDI cannot come into this area. Next slide, please. And so for the hotel and tourism, it is possible. For the industrial park, it is possible. For the golf course and then the new satellite towns, it is possible under the BOT system. After running off 50 years plus tenant, you have to return back to the government. And so that kinds of leasing is possible, but in terms of the sale housing to the local person, it is still a burden to the foreign investor. And so that's why you may see here that the real estate sector is a big fluctuated investment. And however, compared with the 1988 to 2011, 20-year periods, and that 2012 to 2021, 10 years period, the 10 years period investment is double up. And then in the real estate sector, it is much more. You can see here that. However, the investment is not stable and a bit slowed down. However, real estate sector gets 5th rank in FDI, and 164 numbers already approved according to the MIC. And then FDI in affordable housing, residential apartments and condo is very limited. Because of that, I said foreign currency policy and prevail land price and regulation system. Next slide, please. And now is the condominium parts I'm going. And then what is condominium? You can see here all those buildings. Maybe in your country, those all buildings can be condominium. But in our country, because of the condominium law of 2016, these buildings cannot be condominium, but it can be condominium. Under the condominium law, it means 6 floors and above. That built on the land area of at least 20,000 square feet and standing on land registered as collectively owned land. These 3 things, if you meet up, it can be condominium. Otherwise, the buildings can be high-rise building only. And then what's a collectively owned land? Only the land that has land grant. It is the legal individual holdings for 60-year lease or 90 years lease or 30-year lease. It can be registered as collectively owned land. And developers can partner with landholders to set up condominium. In Myanmar case, for the local investor or local developers, they make unit sharing together with the landholders, and the unit sharing is 30 to 50% for the landholders. For the FDI, it is we call it BOD residence, build, operate, and transfer after 70 years, mostly on government land. They have to pay land use premium, and then the annual rent, and also the other taxes and charges in US dollar. And so it becomes a bit expensive for the BOD residents. And public perspective for the condo, what is condo? For the public perspective is that high-rise building with escalator and high management fees. Under the condominium law, we already register 42 developers for the condominium developer license. And then the 2 condominiums is already received the condominium construction permit. Next slide, please. And in the previous slides, I introduced you about the Yangon density, population density map, where the denser the area, the land price becomes higher. And so for the Yangon, in that population density map, they said about that it's outer city, but that outer city becomes the second CBD, and it is the highest land price area, and then the highest condo price area. There you can see the luxury condos, including the Central, and then the other mini condo, and then the standalone condominiums a lot. Although I said it's condominium, they are not registered under condominium law. And then the sale price here, you may recognize that the sale price for the luxury condominium, of course, is US dollar 200 to 450 square feet, maybe similar to Hong Kong, or even much more than the Hong Kong area. And then the management fees is 0.1 to 0.13 per square feet per month. It means that in terms of Myanmar jets, it's 150,000 jets to 200,000 jets. And it is actually a bit expensive for local person. And then the other condo, not the luxury one, we can sell in 200,000 to 300,000 jets per square feet, not so much difference in luxury condo. And then the facilities, you can see that this is a car park, especially car park, one room for one car park. And then the common area, securities. The luxury condos are, of course, with gym and also the swimming pool and the other relaxed areas you can get from the luxury condo. But compared with the landed housing there, the landed housing, the land price are 300,000 to 500,000 jets per square feet. But difference in management fees, you can see that the property tax and charges is only 2,600 jets per month. It is a lot difference from condo to the landed housing. We can say the landed housings are expensive. However, for the maintenance fees or management fees is very, very cheap. And then that land price and taxes are very low. And because of that matter, there are some kinds of market failure happen. Next slide, please. And so in the new suburb area, like Thaya, it is the new satellite towns the government developed in 1990s and 2000. In that area, actually the land price is comparatively very cheap. However, because of the Ban Mai Golf Estate, this is the private developed land area, and then the standard is high, and also the facilities are full. And so it's kinds of gated housing, full amenities and services. Condo management fee is, you can compare here, is cheaper than the landed housing. This is the normal case compared with the other countries. But in our country case, it is different. Next slide, please. Because like in CBD area, this is the border town, it is the old CBD area and the most crowded one area. And CBD area where most of the land plots are utilized for multi-family housing, not the landed housings is available there and have landholders. And then the sale price of the condominium here is 100 to 300,000 per square feet. Facilities, of course, car park is essential, and public common space, and then the security. Management fees is 60,000 to 90,000. For the local condominium, they just collect that amount, and it is affordable. However, it is very arguable for the homeowners. They don't want to pay that kinds of amount. And landed housing price is 400,000 per square feet. The property tax and charges is only 2,600 jets. And you cannot available that land area easily because you have to negotiate with the multi-family housing to develop such kind in that area for the condominium. And so because of the land tax system and also the condominium price level, people in Myanmar, of course, want to stay on the landed housing. They love the land and they want to touch the land. They don't want to go up to the condominiums. However, they cannot available the land price, and then we have to justify the condominium price to the land price. This is the better. Of course, condominiums are expensive. It is expensive. But why it is expensive? We can see here that the mid-level condominium, upper mid-level condominium, high-end luxury. Here is according to the Korea's Indonesia and Myanmar's survey. Here you can see that it still reflects the market situation. And the price to income ratio for high income group, even for the high income groups, is 10 to 40. It is very expensive, but still affordable by some persons. I mean, very high income level group, and they can buy that land, not that land, that area, that condominium. And once I hear that even the developer saying during these days, because of the high inflation, the developers nowadays can sell easily those condominiums compared with the last 2 years because of the inflation, and people are afraid, and then they want to invest in the condominium. And it is now is we can say the take-up rate is a bit higher compared with the last 2 years. Why condominium is expensive? Because I already introduced you about Myanmar people's per capita income level. It is nominal GDP per capita is just 1,500. Of course, with this income level, it is expensive for Myanmar people to buy the condominium. Another thing is that the land price is the main cost for the condominium construction cost. And that land price cannot reflect the real value of the land protection rate. Why? Because of that very low level of property tax in Myanmar. And then it's encouraged the speculative purpose of investment. That's why the land price became a lot expensive. And then that land price became the main cost of the condominium, and of course, the condominium will be expensive because of that cost. And another one is the car parking requirements. Because Yangon nowadays have denser and denser car population, and because of that car population, YCDC, Yangon City Development Committee, instruct or give regulations. It's a kind of local regulations. The car parking requirements for all the new building is 1 room to 1.2. That makes the condominium becomes very expensive also, because the car parking requirements make the condominium, to reduce the car parking requirements, of course, the condominium size becomes bigger and bigger. And then because of that bigger size, like 1,000 feet and more square feet, 1,000 square feet and more apartments, it becomes very expensive. And they cannot make 600 square feet or 500 square feet room apartment because of that car parking requirements regulations. Because of those things, condominium is still expensive for the Myanmar local people, but for the foreigners, if you want to invest here, you can calculate and make the returns maybe easily, because the land rent or the condominium apartment renting market is also good. And of course, for the speculative purpose, that for your investment, it can speculate it and escalate it, the price. And that's why people still invest in condominium. This is your own choice. No? Next slide, please. And so this is after the condominiums, what is condominium, and then how can we invest, and then where should we invest. After that, this is the construction of condo is under the 2016 condominium law. There, the developer need to apply the license, with the license fees is 10 million jets for 5 years at the condominium management committee. First is the developer need to get the developer for condominium license. This is the first thing. And then the second thing is that the developer, after getting the developer license, and then he need to apply for the condo development permit with the project bank account, departmental permits, share value calculation, so and so. They have to apply for the condominium development permit. And then they register the land declaration and landholders' rights for the collectively owned land. So after meeting these 3 things, you can start for the construction of condo. Next slide, please. And selling of condo under the condominium law, it's allowed for the pre-sale, not limited to, but after 30% of foundation work, you can start for the pre-sale measure. Or mixed-use condo, but you have to clarify that the other buyers need to know about that this is the mixed-use condo, and other use like office or other commercial matters is allowable from the buyers. And so kinds of complicated actions for the condo, selling of condo, but it's still possible. And then you can sell 40% of rooms to foreigners legally. And so under the condominium license, getting the condominium, you can buy and own that condominium apartments, 40% by the foreigners. And so you have to check, you means that the foreigners need to check whether this is the true condominium or this is the fake condominium. And if it is the true condominium under the registration, you can own 40% of rooms as a foreigners. Next slide, please. What's the limits of condominium law? If we cannot register under the condominium law, that buildings becomes the, as I said you before, high-end housing or high-rise complex only. We cannot call it condominium. But in the market, they means that the developer sell as a condominium and people buy as a condominium. And foreigners can buy and own 40% onto apartments only with remittance and transfer money to Myanmar bank account if that condominium registered under condominium law. That condominium law or condominium rights does not cover for the residence building operating under the BOD system by the foreign direct investment. BOD projects can sell long-term lease rights. It is the 50 plus 10 rights to the foreigners as well as to the locals. And so the most important thing is occupants in BOD projects or BOD buildings need to vacate out after 70 years of lease right. And so they have to move out after 70 years and they don't have right to renegotiate with the government because most of the BOD buildings built on the government-owned land. And this is all about the condominiums and what's the investment matter. And so this is how you can make decision to invest in Myanmar. And although we would like to invite foreign investment into the housing sector, the government need to clarify about the remittance and also the investment but money and how to sell to the local people. They are the important sector to clarify before you make the investment decision, especially for the housing sector. That's all. If you have questions, please raise.